And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, July 1st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. It is a Friday and we are happy to have you with us on Coleman and Company. And of course, we're on the air for Wilson Bank and Trust. And this morning, Kim Miller is here to do the commercial and tell us a little bit about herself and the bank. And Kim, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here this morning.
We're glad to have you, and you are Cash Management Officer
I
for
am.
Wilson Bank. I think you said you started, 14 years ago?
I did. I've been with the bank 14 years now.
What all have you done?
I've done everything from working in the branch and handing out cash to now I'm in the ops center taking care of our business customers.
Yeah. Well, you must like it, 14 years, 14 good years, I hope.
Yes, I've enjoyed it very much.
What you have for us today?
I want to share today we are starting our Compassionate Hand Bucks sale. Those are going to go on sale at every single one of our Wilson County office locations. With this, it's a $10 donation to support Compassionate Hands. And then you get the benefit of getting $7.50 off a meal at Demos and $7.50 off a meal at PDK in the month of August.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were actually out here, our two representatives from Compassionate Hands, and told us a little bit about that the other day. So you're adding to the mix here this morning, and this is a community thing, and Wilson Bank has jumped on the opportunity here to support and really push it along, I guess.
Yes, we're super excited to come along and join them and help them with their cause, selling their bucks, and then we'll also be doing a lunch for them in the month of August as well.
Now, are these available at every branch, or at least
every Wilson County branch?
Every
you
Wilson
can go
County.
in and purchase your bucks starting today.
All right, and this goes through the month of July, I understand.
All the way until the end of July.
Okay, so today through July 31st, any day the bank is open, you can come and do this.
That is correct.
Well, you're really supporting a worthwhile thing in our community here. Plus, you have your choice of two eating places to enjoy as well. So I think people are going to jump at the opportunity.
I think so too. I think it's a great way to get a little out treat for yourself while supporting a great cause here in Lebanon.
Well, most of the people probably that are listening are familiar with Demos's here in Lebanon, and the other I believe is in Mount Juliet, Providence place in Mount Juliet.
That is correct.
And what's the name of it again?
PDK.
All right, PDK.
Yes, sir.
I'll be honest, I haven't visited that one, but I bought a couple of tickets when they were here the other day, so we'll get to experience both, I guess, and hopefully a lot of people are going to do this. And the Compassionate Hands has come a long way. They're really growing strong, and I'm sure they really appreciate the bank jumping on here and helping in this endeavor.
Yeah, we're happy to and excited to help with this. It's great to get out of your norm every day and get out of the office and do something in the community.
Yeah. Well, again, at every Wilson County branch of Wilson Bank and Trust, you can do this, starting today and going through the 31st.
That's correct.
Now, as far as banking goes, anything you want to tell us about banking today?
Anything about banking today? Well, most people don't even know what I do, so that's a challenging question. We in Cash Management take care of all of our business customers. We keep them banking without being in the branch, which is a strange concept, but your business customers have quite a different need, and we try to make it as easy for them to bank as possible from their offices, keeping them depositing and meeting all their needs right from their office without having to come to a branch. So that's how we help our business customers in Cash Management.
I have an idea of your previous experience, your 14 years there. This is something you haven't been doing all that time, but learning up to be able to do this has probably been great. The experience that you've garnered is really helping you now.
Yes, I'm excited. It's a department that's really grown in the past 5 years since I've joined it. It's not something we focused on a lot in the past, but it's an area that's really growing in the bank.
Well, we mentioned 4th of July, and of course, the bank will be closed on July 4th.
Love a 3-day holiday.
You will have your regular hours today, and open till 6 o'clock?
Yes, that's correct.
A drive-through at least.
Yes.
And then those that are open on Saturday will be open.
Correct.
And then closed Sunday and Monday and back for business on Tuesday.
That's right.
And every Tuesday after a Monday holiday seems like Monday, doesn't it?
It seems like 2 weeks worth of work have to be done.
All right. Well, if you will, Kim, tell us one more time that Wilson Bank is joining Compassionate Hands, a big July promotion here.
Compassionate Hand Bucks go on sale today. They're just $10 a piece at every Wilson Bank location. And for that $10, you're going to get a coupon for $7.50 off at Demos and $7.50 off at PDK in Providence.
All right. Well, everybody keep that in mind. And, of course, remember Wilson Bank and Trust, always a leader in our community, and especially when you have an opportunity to help somebody, the bank is really famous for that. And so here's an opportunity to help Compassionate Hands, and we hope people will. And Kim Miller, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Commercial. We'll remind you it's Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. They're still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. Thank you very much. All right. As our regular listeners know, we have been having an opportunity to meet each candidate for 5th District Congress in the Republican primary. And we are 8 down, and number 9 is with us this morning. And I want to welcome Jeff Byerline, who is here live in studio and going to tell us about his candidacy. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well, and it is good to see you.
Likewise, sir.
I know I'm interested to hear what you have to say. As I've told some of the others, the 9 of you, there are several things that are common to all of you. I think you're all true Republicans, but each one's got his own little niche, and
Right.
And maybe where they're a little bit different. We hopefully will find out out from you this morning. But as I've done with everybody, I'm going to give you a minute or two here to tell us about you, who you are, your background, anything about your education, family, anything you want people to know about you. Jeff Byerline.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say I appreciate it. It's great to address the folks of Wilson County. I love this place. You have the greatest state fair, which I believe used to be the county fair. We were coming out here so long ago, and lovely. I look forward to that, which is, I think, 18 August this year.
Yeah, middle of August.
Can't wait. It'll be after the primary, but one way or another, I'll be out here. But as for me, I grew up in Ohio. I ended up going to Christian schools, and subsequent to that, went to West Point. Service was a huge part of our mission, not as a Christian, but even growing up. They kind of beat it into us, and you really take that to heart. So I always wanted to serve our country, hence West Point was a great transition. I was fortunate enough to get there. Graduated and then getting commissioned to aviation. So I was an Army aviator, and I was selected to fly Army Blackhawks. So that's how I started a lot of my professional career. I spent 11 years on active duty in total. I did spend about 5 of those years overseas. 2 years in Central America. I spent a year in Korea. I did 2 tours in Iraq, and then a year in Eastern Europe, where I actually served with, in Kosovo, the Ukrainians, the Poles, the Germans, the Brits, many of the Allies, which was fascinating. And after that, I decided, I'd given enough, and I did get an MBA from Vanderbilt, and then worked in healthcare for the past 15 years for folks with renal failure. So I'm not a politician, not a lawyer, lobbyist, any of that. I'm a citizen like so many others, with a skill set's a bit different than a lot of the field.
Well, why are you running for this congressional seat?
Because first and foremost, I think it's important that we look at the leaders in office right now, in service to our country, and assess, is this going to get us where we need to be? And, in so many different ways, I think that we need maybe a more business-oriented, somebody who understands a balance sheet, somebody who's ran teams, and somebody who understands what it looks like from the other side, having been a soldier and a warrior and been to combat. And freedom tastes a little different to me, and I am just appalled with the state of our country right now.
What can you do as one of 435 congressmen?
Sure, and 100 senators, by the way. There's a lot. There's quite a few things I want to focus on, and my platform is three big issues, and this hasn't wavered. First and foremost, we need to restore the economic stability of our country, and that's what's killing most people. I heard a great phrase the other day. It's gasoline, groceries, and grandkids. We have such a miserable situation with over almost 9% inflation right now, which we hadn't seen, you and I remember, back from the 70s.
Right.
And it's a lot of this is at our own our own doing. We have failed in monetary policy. Our spending is way out of control. And to put this in perspective, Coleman, talked about this the other night. We don't have a revenue problem. It's not that, we're not collecting enough taxes. We have a gross spending problem. In the first 6 months of this fiscal year, we raised over $2 trillion and spent 30% more than that. It's completely unacceptable. The American Rescue Plan didn't need to happen, and it kind of put us in this spiral that's very, very difficult to get out of. Now, monetary policy, we're talking interest rates, Congress doesn't control. That's done by the Fed. And to get out of the inflation, we should expect interest rates to climb. A lot of economists say the only way to get out of inflation is to raise those interest rates that the Fed sets higher than inflation. That means they could go up to 8 or 9%. Again, that's not Congress's bailiwick, but we should expect that to come. The two things that are reducing government spending, because government shouldn't get a pass while the rest of the country suffers. We look at the $54 billion already spent or committed to Ukraine. We look at the $6 billion in student aid that was forgiven. That's not helping our cause. You're just compounding our frustration and making things worse. And then the other thing, too, I think we need to look at tax cuts. And this is straight out of the Reagan playbook from the 1980s. This is how you defeat that monster storm of inflation in a spiraling economy. Then the other thing, too, and I know I just mentioned Ukraine. If we look at how America's position versus the other countries, again, we are putting ourselves worse. Not that we don't need to defend our allies, but why does Europe get a pass? Why are we spending so much more than all those other countries combined when it's essentially on their doorstep? We could do better, Coleman. So.
All right, it's time for us to take a break. Jeff Beierlein is here, who is running for 5th District Congress as the Republican nominee. And we will take this break and more coming up. Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:16, let's see what's happening on the roadways. This update brought to you by Bates Ford and the Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns the vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking at this crash out here on 24 westbound. It's going to be right at Bell Road. It's got traffic a little bit slow now coming in from Rutherford County because of this crash. Again, 24 westbound at Bell Road. 2 left lanes are blocked due to that accident, and traffic's on the increase even more in the last 10-15 minutes out here on 65 through Madison. Sumner County is out with that crash on Highway 25. It's going to be near Upper Station Camp Creek Road. Hey, Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, they're home of the world famous cotton candy wine. They have other flavors. Check them all out at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When you're Middle Tennessee's community bank, you have a greater responsibility than offering just a menu of financial services. At Wilson Bank and Trust, we make it our mission to know our neighbors, meet their needs, and invest in the communities we serve. Whether we are working with our students to build their youth savings or partnering with a local business owner to fulfill their dreams, our goal is always to make our communities even stronger. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of the fabric of Wilson County for more than 30 years and always supporting us in our efforts to serve you, give back, and grow. Member FDIC.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Jeff Beierlein is with us this morning, candidate for Congress, and let's pick back up here. What you've told us sort of your platform, some things that are near and dear to your heart. But I'm going to go through a few of these issues we've talked about with everybody. The abortion thing. How important is that to you, and the fact that Roe v. Wade got overturned?
I think it's extremely important, but just understand too, Roe v. Wade doesn't stop abortion, Coleman. Roe v. Wade only gets us back to those core principles of our government and the way the Constitution was set up. It pushes power back to the states. And so all these liberals whose head are exploding about it, they're not going to stop abortions in California. It allows the states to decide, which that in itself is a huge victory. And but as a Christian, I can tell you outright, I am pro-life. I support what happened, and I think the fight needs to be back at the state level. I think churches and folks in communities ultimately have a lot to say, and sort of, but take it to the ballot box ultimately. Okay.
Well, along that same line, now there's been talk of expanding the Supreme Court.
Sure.
There's been talk even this week of doing away with this filibuster rule. Comment on those.
It's absolute lunacy. The same people calling for ditching the filibuster were digging their heels in for the past 15 or so years too. It's and to include our president, to include Schumer. They were adamant that we can't crush the filibuster. You know, if they go so far as to pack the court, which they've threatened to do, that would be a serious threat, I think, to our government and democracy and the way things have been set up. It's not illegal, by the way. So, you know, the court has changed, but not for decades and decades, very, very long time. But to the abortion thing, too, all the focus is on the word abortion, and we're talking about putting it back to court. What we really need to be focused on as conservatives is looking at alternatives. I want just as much energy put to facilitating adoptions and creating alternatives for single moms or moms who may have otherwise chosen to terminate that pregnancy. Let's give them an out. And what government programs? Yesterday, I was doing talk radio down in Columbia, and we talked about the Tennessee Children's Home. I mean, communities can step up. We can put our resources. And I've get a litany of mail every day supporting the right to life and other things too, but I'm already on that side. I would love to see those resources put to something more constructive. You know, and that's what I think our focus needs to be.
All right, well, I want to talk about
Yeah.
the border. We haven't mentioned that, and what most people that I've had on, I guess atrocious would be a word to describe how they
Sure.
feel about that.
Sure.
What's your thinking?
Well, a couple things about that. That would be my second pillar, called Protecting America. And the border's a key part of that, but not the only part. And I'm a little bit different than some of the other candidates because everyone screams about the wall. The wall is important, and in some ways it's a euphemism. If we do this right, the wall is even less important. I know we have to have a physical barrier. I've been down there. I've worked down there. I've served immigrants. Again, part of my Christian mission. I've also spent 2 years in Central America living and working among the people in uniform, doing all kinds of humanitarian missions, and part of that, we fought the drug war as well. You know, we were the aviation support for DEA and some of the indigenous law enforcement entities. With that, we're joking and we're kidding ourselves actually that there is an actual physical border that's effective. They talked about on the White House press secretary the other day that the border's closed, and it couldn't be further from the truth. This week alone, the 53 folks they found dead in a trailer exemplify that, not to mention all the drugs floating across. We're going to lose 107,000 Americans this year due to drug overdoses, primarily due to fentanyl. And, you know, that can be done with the stroke of a pen as far as shutting this down. We have the capability, Coleman. We don't have the will to do it, and that's a shame because we're putting not only lives at risk of folks coming to this country, and I don't blame them, we're putting lives of Americans at risk for political expediency, which I find unacceptable. And Congress has a key role in doing that.
Political expediency, meaning if you let them in, they'll vote Democrat?
That's what it appears. I mean, there's no reasonable assessment on why this makes sense, why this is good for our country. And so many of those folks who come, predominantly Hispanics coming across the border, they become the greatest conservatives of all. They build businesses, they employ people, they want to work. And, you know, there are a small element of folks coming across who mean to do harm. But I don't even think we know that. And, you know, I think they're putting our sovereignty at risk, and it's a shame.
What about the drug cartels? I hear that they almost control
They own the border.
inside Mexico.
They own the border. And we know who they are, and we also know where their money's come from as well. So we need to take an approach that goes beyond that wall. We need to execute our economic leverage against Mexico. We do about, I believe it's $380 billion of trade in importing goods from Mexico. We export about 280, so there's about a $100 billion trade deficit. That is a lever we can pull with Mexico. We can just shut it down. And they're not going to want that for themselves. But I don't even think they take our government serious right now. They don't have any respect for Joe Biden. And the drug cartels own them.
President Trump had, I feel like, had solved a big problem there.
Mm-hmm.
And we also were pretty energy self-sufficient here
Yes.
with the oil and all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pipeline is shut down the first day Biden's
Mm-hmm.
president. What do you think of that?
Well, I should say energy independence equates to our sovereignty. I think it also takes us off the dependency of our enemies and our adversaries. For instance, President Trump, under his administration, we had grown our energy production to, I think, 800,000 more barrels a day than we have right now. And about 2 months ago, we were still importing 500,000 barrels from Russia, even as they're tearing across Ukraine. It didn't need to be that way. This is a result of a very, very liberal agenda with the Green New Deal, where we've chosen to choke down our production to try to force America into this green energy dilemma. All right. And I'm not saying we shouldn't explore. I'm not saying we shouldn't try to encourage those things, but not at the expense of our economy and not putting our independence at stake on a global level. This is just awful.
Are there
I'm
other
sorry.
other? All right, Jeff Byerline is with us this morning. I do note that on your flyer here it says Jeff Byerline, veteran for Congress.
Yeah.
And what do you feel like we're doing enough for our veterans nationally?
You know, I don't. You know, we could always do more. Congress did just pass a bill that helps veteran, I think, mental health and a lot of the things that will assist with the burn pits and some of the, I guess, secondary circumstances of being downrange that may have been a secondary consideration. The big focus I have is on PTSD and all of those things that folks tend to associate with veterans, but they never really connect the dots. For instance, we are at an all-time high for veteran suicides. I mean, it hadn't been this bad since they started tracking this back in the Great Depression. We've lost, I think, 176 veterans active duty due to suicide in the past year. On one Navy ship alone, they've lost 10. Now think about that. Now some of these ships are like small cities, but 10 people have taken their lives. So there's definitely something amiss. I blame it on loss of focus. You know, our command is so dead set on focusing on some of these liberal agendas that I think they've taken their eye off the ball. And they need to be focused on war fighting. They need to create purpose in that cohesiveness across their team. But there's something amiss here. And secondarily, you know, that awful exit from Afghanistan only compounds things, where I don't know a veteran or service member who can look at that and say, how did we do this? And we gave, you know, 2,400 lives for what? You know, it's just shameful. By the way, the last 13 people killed on that awful August day last year, one of them was from Tennessee, Ryan Canals. And, you know, I'll hope we don't miss an opportunity to say his name.
Well, there are many other things that we need to do. What I notice on your flyer here,
Sure.
you've got a thing that says restore election integrity. What do you
Yes.
mean by that?
You know, it's funny because I think that makes a lot of people's heads explode too. I think we did a really good job in Tennessee, first and foremost. There's a discussion about should we federalize elections, and I think that'd be the worst things we could do. We should expect states, though, to follow their election laws and their constitutions, and we really took our eye off the ball during COVID, where we have governors and election entities just mailing out ballots willy-nilly. I believe it resulted in something called ballot harvesting. And for those of you who aren't in the know, they should watch 2,000 Mules or find an opportunity to see it and see what really happened. I actually call it electile dysfunction because it's such a disaster. And I think there are many, many states who took the shortcut to try to have a predetermined outcome.
I'm going to address one other thing, then I'll let you summarize your candidacy here.
Sure.
Jeff Byerline is with us. You've got here, it says, get the progressive agenda out of our schools.
Sure. And we actually have a really good opportunity, I think, to take a hard look at that and how we can make things better for our children. The only thing I would say good about the COVID debacle is that many parents got involved in their children's education, and they may not have been so involved before, Coleman. With that, I think folks are more involved not just in the content, and there's teachers standing up, there's parents standing up, and folks are being more active and vocal about that. But I think more and more parents are wanting to be on school boards. Right here in Wilson County, school board of District 4, we've got a veteran named Joe Padilla, sent in the Marine. You may have seen him out there. Folks like that wanting to do the right thing may not have been compelled to service before, but they realize they've got to draw a line in the sand for their children's sake and not let somebody who may have their own agenda shoved down the kids' throats.
All right, we got about a minute and a half, and I'm going to let you summarize your candidacy here.
Sure,
Tell
sure.
the people why you think they should vote for you to be the Republican nominee for 5th District Congress.
Sure. First and foremost, I want to say thanks for everyone for listening. This is a tremendous opportunity. You know, I had never thought I'd have any political ambition in my life, and this isn't just about an opportunity here. I think more it's the ability to determine the direction of our country going forward. This 5th District seat for 148 years has been Democrat straight, and it's going to flip. The balance in the House of Representatives, Coleman, is only 5 between the Democrats and Republicans, and I think that might well swing hard. I bring a different skill set, a different perspective, not just as a soldier and a combat veteran, but as a businessman as well. I've managed teams, I've ran P&Ls, I've employed hundreds and hundreds of people across 6 or 7 different states, some liberal, some conservative. I think I bring a different angle. We saw that in President Trump and how we take somebody who's not a career politician and we can come up with solutions much different than the bureaucrats who tend to run our country. I'm a father, a Christian, a husband, many, many things, and I'm a proud Tennessean, and I appreciate everyone's consideration here.
Well, we appreciate you being with us today, and you, as I said in the beginning, you are the 9th of the 9 who are vying for this seat.
Sure.
And really appreciate having you here live in studio to talk about the issues.
Thank you, Coleman.
Jeff Byerline, veteran for Congress. And that is part 1 of Coleman and Company. Hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. Large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday, free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. TDOT did a good job of moving a crash 24 westbound at Bell Road. And now there's still a lot of traffic trying to get in from Rutherford County coming up through that area on 24 westbound again, but it's moving there at Bell Road. Lots of radar down I-40 through Dixon County, also over in Wilson County this morning. Be careful. Foothills Mercantile Company, they have unique gifts, handmade gifts from the Smoky Mountains, beautiful paintings. Check them out on Facebook. Foothills Mercantile Company in Wares Valley. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's summertime, summertime.
The sun is shining, flowers are blooming, and it's time to get your backyard ready for all that summertime fun.
Well, if you want a bigger backyard, or maybe you don't want to mow anymore, let us help you find the home that fits your needs.
Houses are flying off the market so quickly, you really need to get a real estate agent to help you to find that dream home.
That's why you don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoller at Exit Rocky Top Realty, C&D Team, 443-3130.
Charles Lehman is asking for your vote for Wilson County Trustee August 4th. Charles grew up in Noreen and has been a lifelong resident of Wilson County. Charles Lehman brings a strong education tempered with decades of experience to provide the citizens of Wilson County with a rock-solid background for their next trustee. Working as an appraiser for the comptroller of the Treasury for 34 years and going into real estate after retirement, Charles brings a strong foundation to serve as your next trustee. Paid for by committee to elect Charles Lehman Treasurer.
This is State Senator Mark Pody inviting you to join us at the Wilson County Expo Center on July 9th. We're going to be having David Barton from Wall Builders come talk to us about why we're a Christian nation. We're also going to hear about the Roe versus Wade. What does that mean, that ruling in Tennessee? We'll also find out about the Second Amendment versus gun control. Come join us July 9th at the Expo Center. Doors open at 8:30. Patriots, come. We'll see you there.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
See me weather ahead for the entire holiday weekend. Dew points in the 70s will push the feels like temperature 5 to 10 degrees above the actual air temperature. A high of 90 today, and it'll stay around 90 through the 4th. Keep an eye on showers and storms today, especially in the afternoon and evening. Overnight down to 70 with some clouds and a stray shower. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Eric Streva.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2. It's a Friday morning. We're ready to talk about the Exit Rocky Top Realty with the C&D team. Miss Judy's here, Medina's here. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing good.
All right.
It's Friday.
4th of July weekend on top of Friday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't Medina look like a little firecracker?
Oh, red, white, blue.
Ready?
Firecracker, boom,
Mostly
boom,
red and
boom.
blue.
She had to do that.
Well, our friends at the C&D team are great people. They offer great service. They answer that phone 24/7. They're people you can trust. And Miss Judy has a lot of lessons to teach. You got a lesson to tell us?
No, sir, I wasn't going to do a lesson today. I was going to let Medina do more talking. I talk all the time. She gets the short end of the stick most of the time.
Well, whatever.
Well, the lesson I have for you today is come by our office between 10:30 and 2 because Chick-fil-A will be in our parking lot. That's the lesson for today. Every Friday.
You're really pushing that.
Yes, I have. I just love Chick-fil-A. So, but anyway, if Lebanon has been wanting a second Chick-fil-A here in town, this is your time to shine to let Chick-fil-A corporate know that we're serious, that we want another Chick-fil-A on the west side of Lebanon.
All right, so what's going to be there today?
So from 10:30 to 2 today, and every Friday through the end of July, in our parking lot is Chick-fil-A. And what you do is you come by, they have a limited menu because, of course, they don't have a kitchen there. And you purchase your lunch, and every time somebody comes by and purchases, that shows corporate how interested Lebanon is to get a second Chick-fil-A. And if the numbers are high enough, then that's what will happen. If they're not high enough, then we got to keep working. So,
and you just pull
work
up
all the time anyway, don't
that's
you?
right.
and you just pull up in the parking lot and park, and they have a tent there, and you just walk up to the tent, and the girls are there from Chick-fil-A. They have the sandwiches and the fruit cups and the wraps and drinks, and they just give it to you, and it's easy in, easy out, real quick.
It's been working pretty well.
Yes,
it's been working great.
Several, and the word's getting out. The more Fridays happen, the more the word gets out. And of course, when you drive in and you get a chicken sandwich or a wrap, and then you're thinking, hey, I'd like to list my house. You just walk in the door.
And we're not out there doing that.
No, you just walk in the door. We just happen to be there.
But
So,
it's really good. A lot of offices have come by and gotten food for their whole office. We've watched out the window because we're inside, but we've seen them go out with a lot of sacks. So it's good they'll come and get lunch for their whole office, which makes it really good.
Oh, yeah. So come by. That's one of my lessons today.
All right.
Is to come by and eat some lunch from Chick-fil-A.
Well, what are y'all going to do for the 4th of July? You're going to celebrate, I'm sure.
Eat chicken. I'm sure we'll have some chicken there before it's over.
Oh, yeah. Eat chicken, be with family, go to the city and watch the fireworks.
And
happen.
answer the phone if somebody has a real
That's
estate
right.
problem.
We've always got our phone on no matter what time or day it is, time of night. 1 a.m. we may call you back a little bit later, but we'll still answer your phone call.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we also have a listing, a new price adjustment in Lafayette at 1509 Hillwood Circle in Lafayette. It's the ranch house on a corner lot, wooded lot that has mature trees in it, and the adjusted price is $249.9. So it's a nice remodeled 1-level ranch home, 3-bed, 2-bath, perfect house for someone that is looking to be in a neighborhood but not right next to your neighbor. You have some space.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of trees. You're right there close to shopping, restaurant, school, everything. So give us a call if you're looking for Lafayette at 249.9.
All them good folks in Macon County.
That's right.
And
That's right.
and starting next week, we're going to have probably about 15. If you're looking for investment property, like for some rental houses, we have a lot of people that will want to buy rental houses where the renters are already in the houses and they want to stay. And most of these rental houses, the rent starts at $1,000 a month, and the houses have been rented and they want to stay in them. And we're going to have several of them starting from $200,000 to $320,000. So we're going to have about 10 or 15 of them for sale. So if anybody wants to get involved, we can do some package deals or we can do them separately. So if you're interested in investment property, and they're all local here, Watertown, Lebanon, I think maybe there might be a couple of them in Mount Juliet. Just let us know. Those are going to go on the market next week. So if you want to have a jump on that, just call us, because some people are landlords around here that might want some more rental properties added to their fleet. Just let us know. Or if you want to start buying a couple of rental properties to have. But if there are going to be some good prices and renters are already in place and they don't want to move, so that's the half the battle, is knowing somebody's going to stay there and take care of it. So just let us know. We're going to have those starting next week.
All right. Well, it's good to see you. I guess that about takes care of it this morning.
Yes, that's it. Just remember to be safe with the fireworks if you do use them. Otherwise, go to the fairgrounds this weekend to do the fireworks, watch the fireworks show. And until then, don't make a move without us.
I knew you'd get that in there. Don't make a move without us. Thank you very much. Medina Hemmentoller, Judy Cox, C&D team, Exit Rocky Top Realty. Y'all have a great one. We'll see you next Friday. All right. I have invited the mayor and Patsy Anderson to come and be with us today and talk about all that's going to be taking place here as we celebrate July 4th here in the city of Lebanon. Patsy?
Good morning.
Been a while since I've seen you.
A year.
Yeah, a year. It hasn't been that long since I've seen the mayor.
Good morning. Good morning, Coleman.
How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I've been practicing.
Oh, I saw what you put on Facebook, and everybody is congratulating you and come on, Rick, and all that good stuff.
Actually, I have to be honest, Coleman. I have not picked up a cornhole bag since we played last year, so I think you'll be in good shape.
Another year.
hey, I can wipe my foot. Oh well, we're gonna have some fun.
We are.
But the two of you, Patsy and Rick, are here to talk about the 4th of July celebration. And before we get into that, anything happened that you need to tell us at all? Things settling in fine for 4th of July weekend at this point?
Oh, we're all good. Everybody's ready to celebrate, Independence Day. And Patsy's been working hard on Monday's celebration at the fairgrounds. And this is not something that happens overnight. She's been working on this for a long time because there's a lot of stuff you have to put together.
Well, we welcome you again, and it's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
What all is your job with the city? What's your job title, by the way?
Zoning enforcement official.
Oh, okay.
So if you are in violation of use of your property, and it's a zoning violation, that's when you get to meet me. If you need a site plan or there's some issues like that, you'll also, we'll be talking. But I still enforce a few things left over from codes with outdoor pools and fencing and accessory structures. So I'm kind of a mixture. And then I have the fun part, like the July 4th. So.
Well, you've been doing this for a while, haven't you?
A while, yeah.
And every year is not exactly the same. I mean, it's the same in that we celebrate the 4th, our nation's independence and this sort of thing, and hopefully get a little bit patriotic and wave Old Glory and this sort of thing. And I don't think we can do too much of that. We've done that well here for the city. I guess Mayor Fox started that years ago, and I think it's continued on, and that's good. But it does take some time to get all of this organized and to get somebody to show up and do their part. And
I'm working on next year already. Last year was our first year after the COVID.
Yeah.
And we were planning that year and had to shut it down. So last year was a great turnout. We had a lot of fun. We had good weather. And we're going to do it again this year and add a little bit more to it. So bigger and better every year.
Well, hopefully we can talk about all of this, and we got, again, hopefully enough time this morning. Really, it starts at noon, and it will go, I guess, till the fireworks end, somewhere in the neighborhood of 9:30.
About 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's traffic time. Yeah. Yeah.
And Mayor, I think, don't you have to have an appropriation, or is that just part of your budget every year, the fireworks?
We put in our budget every year, to make sure that we can do it. In fact, the fireworks typically last 20 minutes, and so this year I talked about maybe we do it for 30 minutes. And Lisa Lane, our purchasing agent, said, No, we're not going to do that. We're going to stick to 20. So, but it's one of those things that it's celebratory. Obviously, we're celebrating Independence Day, but we're celebrating the nation as well. So, I think the fireworks show is something that everybody looks forward to. It's something that, as Patsy said, the entire day we want to be bigger and better. But one thing I do know is that the fireworks, you can see them from all over town.
Yeah.
I know people park, throughout the city and sit on their front porches and watch the fireworks. But, if you come out to the fairgrounds, we have so many other activities going on, and it's a whole day of family fun. And so I do invite everybody to come to the fairgrounds. You can see the fireworks from other places, but there's so much going on at the fairgrounds. It's extra.
Yeah, the fireworks is sort of the culmination, sort of the ending of a great day. And I don't know of a better way really to do it. And there's so many people who just really enjoy that. It's something to look forward to. Some will come and stay a long time. Others come just for that, I guess.
Well, it's something I think the families can enjoy together. The kids enjoy it,
Yeah.
and so then the adults enjoy it because of that too. So.
All right. Well, I want us to go to a break here, but when we come back, we'll sort of go over everything from 12 noon till the 9 o'clock fireworks. And we have Patsy Anderson, Mayor Rick Bell here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:44, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got that regular oil change, $34.95, up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. The police trying to clear up this wreck on 24 westbound at Bell Road. It had traffic a little extra slow coming in through that from Rutherford County through that section of Davidson County. Again, that's 24 westbound at Bell Road. It's already busy now on 65 South at Trinity Lane. Lots of radar out here. You're going to see a lot of that over the weekend. Hey, Ripley's has a great summer camp experience for the kids. Check it all out at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Stephen Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you can afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
6, the first song.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. And again, if you just turned our way, Mayor Rick Bell is here along with Patsy Anderson. And we don't need your title here. You're just in charge of entertainment for July 4th. That's what we're talking about this morning.
I am. I'm the party girl.
And you have done a good job over the years. I think you've done another good job this year, and we want to talk about all of this. Now, I've got your flyer here, and it all starts at 12 noon when you sort of open for business. But what all is happening in the early afternoon?
Well, 12 noon, the Goodwill Cruisers will start registration for their car exhibit and competition. All of our food carts will be on place, and you can start eating and, walking around. At 2 o'clock, 2 to 6, the Fiddler's Grove is going to be open. From 2 to 4, over in Fiddler's Grove, actually behind the general store, Glenn Martin Duo Jazz Band is going to be there performing. And I think a lot of people are familiar with Glenn. He's from around here and Taunton.
How many will be with him?
Just the two, the duo. Okay. Just a duo,
right.
Yeah.
Well, he's quite an accomplished musician.
Yes, we graduated together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've known him a long time, yeah.
But I've known Glenn, and he's had a lot to do with the Jazz Festival in Watertown.
Yes,
too,
he puts that together, I believe.
He's taught music, and he's probably got some songs he's been written. I don't know.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Okay.
He's quite talented. That will be kind of going on until 4 o'clock is when it all explodes, and that's when we start serving the free hot dogs, free watermelon, bottled water. And then you'll also have the inflatables, the bouncies open up. We'll have face painting. We'll have a new addition this year, and it's a craft table so that the kids can sit down, or adults, and paint a flag. So it's on styrofoam, so they can take that home. It'll actually sit up on a table, and they'll be doing that. And then the balloon kid will be there. He'll come in about 5 o'clock, and then we'll have the food carts all around. The veterans will be joining us in there this year. They'll still be outside selling it by the pound, their barbecue, but we're going to have them inside selling sandwiches as well.
How many different vendors maybe will be there with food?
There'll be 5 this year.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. How many did you have last year?
We had 3.
Just 3.
Mhm.
Oh, so you're grown in that respect.
We've got 5 vendors. We've got 1 more bouncy. We've got 1 more, the arts and craft table that's added, and face painting was not there last year, so they're back.
Mhm.
So
I guess we should point out there's no charge for anything except, I guess, what you eat.
except for what you buy from a vendor off the food cart.
Whatever's on sale, but food's
Right.
probably going to be one of the big items.
Parking's free, the event's free, the entertainment's free. We'll have the cloggers back. Of course, they're just wonderful. The Evergreen cloggers will be there again.
That's what Johnny Payton started
Yes,
years ago, and
Miss Johnny.
still going.
My dear friend, I love her to death. Yes, Miss Johnny.
Mayor, this is the less you've said in any time you've been out here, I think.
Well, this is, as I said earlier, Patsy, this is the party that she puts together. So, I want to give her all the credit, and all the other city volunteers that come out there and help as well. From my perspective, last year, Patsy's done this many times. Last year was my first event, and I told Patsy, we want to be bigger and better than ever. And she's done the same thing this year. I was there as I was listening to Patsy talk. I was thinking about one thing from last year. As the fireworks were going on and as the event was happening throughout the day, I walked around a lot, saw a lot of people, and it was amazing to see everybody come out, especially after COVID. For the first time, and really get out there and enjoy each other and enjoy the celebration. But one thing hit me, and that was last year. I ran into a professor at Coleman University I used to work with, and last year he became an American citizen. And when I saw him at the celebration, we were talking, and he said, this is my first 4th of July as an American citizen. And he said, this is everything I expected it to be. And he said that, that when he became a citizen, he was so proud, and being out there that day and watching the fireworks and all the celebration, how much it meant to him, and really there were tears in his eyes. And I think that's
Brings
something
tears to my eyes.
that we take for granted.
Yeah.
Growing up here and being in, being in this great country and having all these freedoms all of our lives, but it's not like that everywhere. And so, while we're out there listening to music and eating all the great food and watching the fireworks, that's really what that day represents. And it really hit me last year when he told me that, because this is someone I'd known for a while, and that's the first time he had really, been that personal and saying those things. But watching the kids watch the fireworks and all the families out there, it's great. And I know that, getting out of there with the traffic is a little bit of pain, but it's worth it. To be part of it. But I just thought, to see him and his wife there and to hear that story, I just thought, all the work that Patsy puts into it and what we pay for the fireworks, everything is worth it for that experience.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the crowd will be bigger. More people will come. It was good last year just to get to have it when it hadn't been able to before.
Right. Well, that's quite an honor to hear what the mayor just shared. I mean, I'm honored to hear that. But the traffic, the Lebanon Police Department do a great job with that. They really move people along. So I wouldn't hesitate because of the traffic not to come, because they really move you in and out really well.
Well, there's more people probably going to show up for the fireworks than any other thing if it's like it usually is. But you're really missing a lot. There's always some good watermelon. And
always good watermelon.
What would the 4th of July be without?
And they're going to miss seeing you two play cornhole.
That's right. In fact, in the lobby, I understand Patsy missed us playing last year. She didn't even realize we played. So.
I did not know it. You hid from me. I was out and about, I guess.
Well, maybe we need to make some sort of announcement prior.
There we go.
We did it on stage. We kind of hid last year because I didn't want everybody to see how bad I would lose. But we can put it on stage this year. That's fine. But
I'll play you any player. Anytime on the board.
We have that small area, and they're under construction out there, so people are going to see that going on, and so we've had to move things over a little bit, and but that's okay. it'll be even better next year. But there is some grassy area still left right next to the Cox
That's right.
Hospitality Building,
Uh-huh.
and that would be a great place to put
It would be.
Well, you pick it,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
But Patsy mentioned the police department. They'll be doing double duty this time. And of course, they always pass out the free hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then they'll be doing traffic as
And
well.
they got water too this year.
And they'll have water as well. And every year you learn more. And one of the things I told Patsy was this year, we need more food. So we have more food and have plenty of water. And of course, the fire department will be out there too. They'll have their vehicles out there for people to look at and for kids to climb on.
And the police
But-
department, they'll have an exhibit set up.
Well, you have some
as well.
auxiliary policemen that are involved in this, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Part of the
Work
police
with them.
department,
Mhm.
but they're
Yes.
kind of known for what they do as auxiliary police.
Oh, they're a huge part of this, and we're so thankful to have people who volunteer to help the police. It's essentially what that is, and do their jobs, and so they'll be out there as well, and
Well, I understand Patty over at the Senior Citizen Center was asking for some volunteers the other day, maybe to cut up the watermelon.
That's right. Yeah.
See, the Senior Citizen Center has a little role in this as well.
That's right. The senior center, Patty and Teresa and all the people over there will be passing out the free watermelon. That's something that they do every year. That's their tradition, and as you said earlier, there's not a 4th of July without hot dogs and watermelon. So,
Well, one of the things we haven't mentioned hardly at all, and I think we've mentioned really, we got as far as the Evergreen Cloggers. They're at 5:45, but then you've got 7 o'clock. You've got a big
Sweet and Three it will be performing, yeah. And the mayor is going to do his welcome at 5 o'clock. There will be a donation presented to Empower Me Center by the Goodwill Cruisers. They take the money that they collect in registration, and then they turn around and donate that to Empower Me Center. So they'll be on stage with the mayor, but the mayor's going to do a little bit of an addition. I'm going to tell on him because I think it's a great idea. He's going to talk about our first celebration in 1776. So you may even hear the sound of some cannons going off. They celebrated with 13 cannons and 13 fireworks, so you may even hear a little bit of that.
Well, being the history professor, we got to get a little history in here.
That's
and
right.
really, I don't know how much of this is taught in school today, but July 4th and our Declaration of Independence and the wording that Thomas Jefferson put in that, and that's a wonderful document, and we just we need to not forget.
oh, absolutely. Actually, there's a committee that put that together. Thomas Jefferson did most of the writing, but John Adams and Ben Franklin, they were also on that committee, and here's the thing about the Declaration of Independence that we look back at that and say, okay, well, there are some guys in Philadelphia who met and did it, announced it, but actually they were committing treason. When they were putting their lives on the line when they signed that document, and so that was more than just putting out a piece of paper. That was announcing to the world that they were creating this new country, based on freedom and independence, and the King of England didn't like it, obviously, and so they were really putting their lives on the line. And so as we think about this and think about 1776, it's easy to look back and see those guys, and I would tell my classes this as marble statues, but actually they were people, and they made decisions, and one of those decisions was to create this nation, and it was a big step. I mean, it really was, and so we owe everything to to what they did, back in July of 1776, and it was one of those things. Would it work? They really didn't know, but if it didn't work, they were in trouble, and they took that step.
Right.
Well, I know too, and I don't know whether it was John Adams, but somebody wrote something about how that in years to come, this ought to be a time to celebrate on and on and on.
That was John Adams. His wife, and whenever he's away from her, he wrote letters to her all the time, back and forth, and that's what he wrote, that this would be celebrated for years to come. This would be a time that's remembered, and and it's I can't remember in detail what he said, but it would be celebrated throughout the nation. But as part of the story, the day that he thought would be celebrated would be July the 2nd, because that's the day they actually voted to create independence. July 4th was the day they signed the document, and that was the date that's on the document. That's the day we celebrate, but it actually happened 2 days earlier. So John Adams was a little bit right and he's a little bit wrong, but but that happens to a lot of us.
Well, we got about 2 minutes to wrap it up here. Patsy Anderson, thanks for being with us this morning.
I just have one thing to say. I just want to thank everyone. I mean, it's an honor to be able to kind of pull this together, but it's a team effort. And I appreciate everyone that participates that day and has helped get it ready, and that is there. So, and I hope you all come out.
Well, I appreciate you coming out to tell us about it.
Thank
and what
you.
better time than the last part of our program before the big day.
That's right.
But it all starts at noon, 2 to 6. Fiddler's Grove's going to be open. Glen Martin Jazz Duo, 2 to 4. There's going to be free hot dogs, free watermelon bounces, face painting, balloon tricks, paint a flag, craft a table, free souvenirs, compliment City of Lebanon. The opening ceremony welcomed by Mayor Bell at 5 p.m. And the Goodwill Cruisers present a donation to Michelle Hill with Empower Me, the Evergreen Cloggers, 5:45. Sweet and 3 Band at 7, fireworks at 9. We've covered about all of it in a hurry.
We
here.
did, yes,
And
thank
the
you.
cornhole, I don't know exactly what time, but the mayor and I are going to have our annual cornhole game. What?
We'll make
Come
sure
on out and watch.
everybody's there to see that.
Yeah, come on out and watch.
Well, we will be celebrating the 4th by not being here on Monday, so I'll be back on Tuesday and hope that you will be too. But let's enjoy a great weekend here. Let's celebrate the anniversary of the birth of our nation. And Mayor Bell and Patsy Anderson, thanks again for being with us this morning. All right, until Tuesday, I wish you a fantastic day.